Okie dokie nuts. So today's episode is brought to you by the Powerful Nothing Cube podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and that symbol on the right. And they're also on YouTube as well, associated with the Too Sweet MTG YouTube channel. And this podcast, hosted by my friends Dan and James, they talk about Cube every week, new set releases, archetypes, environment design, all the things you want to hear about when you're playing or building your own cube. They've got lots of different deep dive segments. They have special guests on. I'm on one of the episodes at some point in the past. But great cube podcast. These are the people that I talk to about cube most days. So we've got quite a good group, and these guys will have you listening for hours. So go check them out, and then on with today's video. 5 seconds, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Right, waiting for our draft picks to load. What have we got? There's Grief, Fastbond, Jace, Tundra, Currency Converter. Athari's good. I like Grief, I like Jace. I really fucking love a Tundra though. I don't think Tundra's better than Grief. Well, this is like a bunch of high quality mediums is not really where I wanted to start. Tundra versus Grief, or just take a Jace and just be pleased with myself because I've got a Jace. I might do that actually. I'm way more comfortable with a Grief in my hands than a Jace in my hands than a Grief, I think. Right. So Fastbond I think is a bit aggressive. I do like myself a Fastbond deck, but there's a time and a place. Grief is kind of fucked, and it's the only black card. So there's a way that we can like clear the left, right? We can clear the two guys to our left from that. We can do some Grief scam stuff. Modo auto-selected Grief, so maybe it's got like a point to prove. I fucking love myself Jace. So why do they put Jace in the middle like that? Jace and Fastbond, like they're probably trying to tempt me. I think I'm going to take Grief, though I do like Tundra. Tundra and Jace is really close as well, right? Anyway, right, let's take Grief and see what we can get later on. So Mox Opal, Necromancy. Necromancy is kind of a big game. There's 2 red burn spells there, which I am interested in. But I think just like picking up the Necromancy and then considering like Necromancy is the same colour. Necromancy is exceptionally fucked up, and we can work out ways to get cards into our graveyard later, whether they be traditionally red or blue or just mono black. If I'd taken the Spelled Binder, there would be the Adeline here, and I'd have like a mono 3-drop white deck on the go. There's also considerations for things like Steam Vents, but I think if I'm getting past Necromancy, I should take Necromancy. Rip Brain Freeze. Chain Lightning's interesting and stuff, but I think I'll take... Like, I've got Interaction, I've got my Reanimate piece. I'm not a massive fan of the Reanimate decks. Like, there's the Soul Guide Lantern in the format. The white decks are great against it with Containment Priests and Lion Sashes, that sort of thing. The green deck get Endurance. So, they're good and they're powerful, but I'm not like in love with them. So what have we got here? We've got 2 cards that don't work with Necromancy. There's an Urza's Saga. There's also just like an Esper Sentinel. I've got nothing to do with the Saga. There's a Through the Breach actually. So I could just take the Emmy and that, yeah, maybe that's better. Take the Emrakul. Take the Emrakul. Look out for Shallow Graves. Possibly wheel Through the Breach. Open Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And call it a day. Or there's like Urza's Saga. Or there's just like Esper Sentinel. And we start just taking every scrub land we see. That's a bit more proactive. In like a low curve sort of way. I think I'm going to take the Emrakul. Because it's just so fucking big. Pick 3 Emrakul's so horrific though, isn't it? It's so shit. Maybe it's just supposed to be Esper Sentinel, and I just accept the fact that I really like the white decks. What have I passed? Adeline and Spellbinder so far. Now I'm going to take Emrakul. I think Emrakul's way better. No, I don't. I'm so lost. Interactive white and black. Yeah, that's always a good deck. Let's just take Esper Sentinel. I don't know about that. That's all a bit fucked up. Right, there's a Lurus there. Lurus could get me off grief. Lurus would take me off grief and necromancy. There's a Chrome Mox, also very powerful. I could just take Lurus and we start again. Or I can take Chrome Mox, which is like a Scrubland. It's also Containment Priest. I think I'm going to take Lurus. Do I want a companion Lurus? I'm not there. I'm not sure yet. I can take Chrome Mox. There's also Inti, but like, I don't want to be Mardu. I don't really want to be red. I'm a bit concerned that I'm in my own head at the moment. I'm going to take Chrome Mox. Chrome Mox is just generically fast and powerful. That Emrakul pick's going to haunt me every time I see a Shallow Grave come by. So Staff of the Storyteller, so my Chrome Mox is crap. Stern Scolding's really good. I passed the Tundra early. I think we can let... I like Staff a lot. I think I'm going to take the Staff. I can't really... Yeah, well, I'm going to take the Staff. And then this is weird because now I've got a Chrome Mox that can't produce white, so that's fun. Sentinel versus Emrakul's really weird because like there's the really good like white black interactive decks where you thought seize them, you play a Sentinel, you grief them, you play a Lingering Souls, you skull clamp it all, and you just generally grind out all the decks with lots of cheap threats and interaction. There's the Corpse Dance though, and it looks like that sort of other stuff's like kind of drying up. So we could take Corpse Dance and see if anything else comes back around, like that Emrakul. We could take the Phyrexian Revoker and just continue to be kind of disruptive. I think I'll do that for now. Shielded True Name, that's a late True Name. Is it too late for me to take a True Name? I've probably passed a decent amount of good blue. Take Shurikai. I've already got some sort of interest in white. I can just take Shielded Edict, which is roughly on colour, roughly interactive. So we'll do that. It's a piece of removal. It's another black card for our grief. Weird. Right, Glimmerlens, Touch, Preacher. Right, I cannot beat a Pest Infestation. Preacher of the Schism's good. Preacher of the Schism's very good if I pick up a Ritual or something like that. Glimmerlens is 2 mana. Preacher is 3 mana. I think I'm quite happy with that as a tie break. Pass up on Oblivion Ring. Maybe Oblivion Ring's better. Oblivion Ring with grief, yeah. Cool. So we'll try and lean into that side of a scammy thing. So what we're aiming for here is to get some sort of, maybe like a Reanimate or something like that. Like just one of the cheaper Reanimate spells than Necromancy. And then Paths, Plows, cheap white creatures, cheap black creatures. Preferably not Evolved Sleeper. And then we can attack our opponent, interact with our opponent, that sort of thing. Chrome Mox will push it a bit. Wheeling Elite Spellbinder. I can't remember what else was in this pack, but that's kind of cracked. And then we've got Adeline next. The rest of these cards are not for us. So, yeah, I'm happy to wheel that guy, actually. So Adeline didn't make it round, or is Adeline next? Either way, we'll take Prismatic Ending, just cheap, versatile removal. It's kind of where we want to be. Kind of where we want to be. We do need to find some scrublands and other analogues to scrubland. There should be like 4 or 5. There will be the tapped ones as well, like the triomes. I'm sure there's a couple of triomes that make white and black. I don't know how many there are on the fly. So where did we start here? We started with Grief, and then Necromancy, and then it was Emrakul versus Esper Sentinel. Emrakul didn't make it round. So that's Urborg for fixing if we want it. But one of the problems with Urborg, so like it's a good land to have if you're playing multiple colours, and black is one of them. But the downside of it is the additional clicks that you have to make with Urborg in play. So I don't love where we're at. I don't hate where we're at. If cards like Spellbinder or Wheeling, I'm going to be quite pleased with my life. If cards like Lurrus are Wheeling, I'm going to be very pleased with my life. I don't think we can get onto Lurrus as is, because I would be giving up what our 3 best cards in exchange for not a lot. But Lurrus is a card you can play in your deck. I don't imagine anyone's playing these. I think Escape is the best one. I can't imagine there's a world where we get onto Lurrus. We obviously will try and take the cheaper card where possible from here on out. But coming off of Grief, Spellbinder, Necromancy sounds maniacal. To me, at least. I think this is the interesting thing about the more, I guess, competitive cube, right? This is relatively competitive in terms of stakes, but the combo decks look far more open, and the proactive decks are far more fought over. Like if you go into a normal league queue with mono white, like on Modo, mono white's wide open, like all the time. So, right, going into pack 2, we need just generally we just need a lot of help. We've got some cards in our sideboard. We've got some cards in our main deck. So yeah, I'm not going to aggressively try and get myself onto Lurrus. However, there's a lot of improvement to be done in our 1s and 2s section. So Shadowy Backstreet will be nice on the wheel. If not, Duress and Concealing Curtains are both great. This Spirit Knight thingy, White of the Night Phantom, I think is a bit of a train wreck. I don't think it's very good at all. But we're going to take Strip Mine. Strip Mine is disruptive, and it's exactly where we want to be. If we do fill out this 1-drop slot and we're able to Chrome Mox out some 1-drops and then strip them on the draw or something like that, that'll be sick. So let's take the Strip. I'm pleased with that as a pick. Strip Mine's really good. You can just like win games with a Strip Mine. Twist versus Skyclave. Yet another Tundra goes... Not Tundra, yet another Scrubland goes away. Twist is good, but we don't look like we're like massively ramping stuff out, right? And I've already got a Grief. Skyclave interacts with things in play. Twist is fucked up though. 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 black cards at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a bunch of white cards. I think I'd take Skyclave. Like I don't know. I really like the white decks. I think they're really good. I think white blue is like the best archetype to be in if you are able to get cheap white threats and good blue permission. I think the white black deck's fine. White red's okay just because your gold cards are so screwed up. Like Athari, 4th Aerlingus, Flage now as well. White black is always good, but I always find it a bit grotty and a bit like sweaty to play. I always feel like I've got more reach with mono white. But you can get into black for, like we are, right? Some just other disruptive elements. But Skyclave over Twist is close. But Skyclave is going to be good nearly 100% of the times you cast it, whereas Twist you can draw when we're both hellbent and it's awful. Luminarch versus Oust is really interesting. I've already got 1, 2, 3 pieces of removal. They're not 1 mana pieces of removal, but Lumi can win games on its own. So we're gonna Lumi. Oust on the wheel would be nice. There's a Dam there as well, which I wouldn't mind picking up if that makes its way back round. Yes, there's a Shallow Grave for my Emrakul. I see that. I know that. There's also Caustic Bronco, but I think if white cards are flowing, we need to fill out this. That'll make it look better. If we move the touch here, that'll make it look better as well. That makes my curve look less aggressive. Grief is basically a 0. So, you know, I'm not saying we're cutting this nonsense. We can absolutely play it. And if we start wheeling like Shadowy Backstreet, the silent clearing, that sort of thing, then we'll be a lot more interested in it. And this is really like where it's asking me the question, right? Is, are you doing that? City of Traitors, immensely screwed up. Tide Hollow Sculler, like the nut high for this archetype, right? Or for like the white-black archetype. Or it's just like an Intrepid Adversary. I think it's supposed to take City. City of Traitors versus Tide Hollow Sculler. I'm not taking Intrepid Adversary. Intrepid Adversary is very good, but Intrepid Adversary is just power and toughness, right? The other 2 cards do something better. This is mana ramp. The other one's very disruptive. It's just, do I want to be in the black version? Do I want to be in the white version? Mono white version? I haven't taken any of the fixing lands yet. I don't know. I'm going to take City and see what happens. I could still wheel the Tide Hollow, but I think City's kind of cracked. So I can go turn 1 Revoker, turn 2 Strip Mine, and no one's got any lands. Certainly a play. So yeah, there's a lot of good black cards now. I'm just wondering if that's where I'm now supposed to be. Like, I don't know. I think I'm kind of... So if I bring these guys back in, my curve doesn't look great, but that's fine. Because, like, I'm not getting the cheap white guys, right? So maybe I'll just take the bat this time round. I've already got internet, loads of removal. So let's take the bat and pray that those scrub lands come back round, and maybe we get the Tide Hollow back as well. Yeah, why don't I have any black cards? Because you haven't taken any black cards, Josh. That's why I've not got any black cards. Deep Cavern Bat, though, I've been told is good. So let's see how that goes. Grave Titan, Council's Judgment, cut down. Right, I've already got Touch the Spirit Realm and Skyclave. So I can probably just take Cut Down as a card which costs few amounts of mana over the Council's Judgment. So I've already got that sort of effect around. Not for the massive stuff, right? Like I'm not able to Skyclave in Atraxa or what have you, but right, and give us like a gift. So I think we take Giver. Aven Interrupter is yet another 3 mana card in my deck of 3 mana cards. But it is a very good 3 mana card. I'm not loving the angle here, but so it goes. I just need more cheap creatures that I can put onto the battlefield. And where are we? 23 picks. So I've got one more blind pick. Oh no, I haven't got one more blind pick. Right, so I'm going to take, at this point, I'm going to take the Backstreet over the Concealing Curtains, I think. I need to start getting some way of casting all of these different coloured spells. Concealing Curtains is good, but Shadowy Backstreet is a dual land. There's our Silent Clearing. Over not a lot. Right, Deathright's good. Baleful Mastery's fine. I'm not nightmaring. And then Oust coming back's pretty big game. There's a universe where you can consider taking the Fire Covenant. I don't believe it's this one. I think I'm... And then getting Tide Hollow Scholar back once we've taken our fixings are really quite tidy. So, Evolve Sleeper getting past, which is exactly where we want to be. Because if you've drafted yourself into a spot where Evolve Sleeper's making the cut, then I don't know if that's where you really want to be. Let's all write down that I said that, so that when I lose to Evolve Sleeper in a couple of rounds' time, we can all laugh at it. But no, that it's not been the perfect draft. There's definitely been different roads and avenues I could have taken. Esper Sentinel versus Emrakul. You know, when the Emrakul kills me, we'll think that could have been us. Vindicate coming around late. I didn't have enough 3-mana cards, so it was. But like, we've got cards, right? This is playable. I wouldn't mind another 1 or 2 drop. I wouldn't mind a piece of power, obviously. Luris not going to make it as a companion. Council's Judgment on the wheel. Maybe just white cards haven't been opened. Maybe that's the crack. So I don't know. We need. It's annoying that I've got so many white pips, right? And like coloured pips down here. Gosh. Okay. Because my City of Traitors isn't very good. Right. Nethergoyf versus Bob. I don't know the answer to that. Nethergoyf is new and good and powerful. However, Dark Confident is Dark Confident. So then we take Bob. Keep the cards flowing. If we can Chrome Mox out of Bob, we'll be very happy. Yeah. We've got some cheap interaction. We've got some cheap creatures. We've got some good card draw. What does my Staff of the Storyteller do at the moment? It makes 1 token and then draws a card. And that's not like the Nutlow, is it? Bloodstained Mire is good. Animate Dead is really good because that means my Necromancy costs 1 less. Probably just want the Bloodstained Mire though, right? Yeah, I think so. Bloodstained Mire over Animate Dead. Neither of them are coming back. Jitte's powerful, but I don't care for it. I'm going to take Bloodstained Mire. There's nothing on the right. Hero of Bladehold's fine. Steel Seraph is good. Hero versus Seraph? That's really unexciting, isn't it? We could take Khan. Khan's a baller, isn't he? It's yet another problem for our opponents. Is Khan better than Hero, though? Probably not. Is Khan better than Steel Seraph? Steel Seraph's yet another double white card that doesn't work with City of Traitors. Maybe I should take Khan because it works with City of Traitors, actually. Hallowed Fountain I can't use. Usher of the Pollen might be cool on the way back round, but Dismember is one of the best removal spells in the format. So let's take that. Sunfall and then Virtue. Sunfall versus Virtue. I guess it's Virtue. I'm playing a decent number of creatures. Virtue's a 2-drop, which 5s us with Bob, so that's quite a combo. We're going to have to make cuts in a bit. Luris is probably a main deckable card. I'm not sure about Staff in this spot, although I've just picked up 2 token makers. But I think playing for that as a combination doesn't sound realistic. So, what pack are we on? 3. That's annoying. I could really go for a 4th pack. Do we play Necromancy? I guess we have to, right? Just Grief you, Necromancy you. There's not a lot here. There's a Retrofitter, which is a really expensive way to keep drawing cards. I think I'm just going to take Polluted Delta. Another way to find my Shadowy Backstreet. If I see a Godless Shrine or Scrubland in the next few cards, then that'll make me very happy with my 2 fetch lands. Dismember is a 1. Touch is questionably a 2. So Virtue is actually a 2. So it doesn't all look like horrific, does it? Don't know why Luris is chilling out over there on his own. He's probably going to make the cut. This is a lot of cards, which we'll have to take a look at in a moment. I like the staff, but I'm just not sure if the staff is going to get there. So didn't get any other than Grief. I didn't get really any of the most premium discard. Right, I didn't get the Inquisitions and the Thoughtseizers. I got the Bats and the Scullers, which is fine enough. It's just not the dream, right? So low power openings for us. Cobrew. Indantha Triumphs, another Scrubland, another tapped Scrubland. What is Eagles? Eagles is interesting. I'm going to take Indantha though. How many cards do I see out of this? 1. Okay, so no. Collective Brutality continues that train of just interactive, powerful cards, doesn't it? So maybe that's supposed to be the pick, and we hope there's a Scrubland in this pack. There's a Godless Shrine, cracker. Figure's cool and stuff, but this is a Godless Shrine. Cool, that's fine by me. Pretty into Godless Shrine there. Cradle Bodyguard. I didn't take that Retrofitter, so Cradle's not really going to do much for us. Savine's I don't think is real. This is a 1-drop. And this is quite a good 1-drop as well, right? So Bitter Triumph actually kills something. Portable Hold and Mana Tide are quite conditional, so I'm going to have to work out what I want my removal suite to look like when we get down to deck building. But we did get Godless Shrine, Bloodstained Mar, Polluted Delta, and I got the Shadowy Backstreet as well, so I've got a backup white land for those 2 black fetches to go and find. And it looks okay. We've got some deck building decisions to make. Steel Seraph comes around again. One thing I need to be careful with is the fake costs on a lot of my cards if I'm bobbing people, right? I've not yet beaten Kappa Cannoneer this season, so I'm going to take that one out of the poll. Maybe that's supposed to be Thieving Skydiver. And I'm unsure. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing the staff. I've got 3 1-drops there, all white. Yeah, I think it's just going to come down to our removal suite. We've got quite a lot of artifacts, right? Esper Sentinel. Okay, maybe not. Esper Sentinel Staff. Tide Hollow Revoker. Yeah, not loads. I don't know. Yeah, Dismember's another one that's a fake cost, right? Bodyguard Luris is quite nice. Little... I'm not going to say combo, but you know what I mean. Nice little synergy. You can keep them together, keep them rolling. I think a lot of our clan is just going to be like turn 1 Luminarch, strip you, waste you, like strip you, duress you with a bat or a brute cobra or something like that, and just pray that it rides, that sort of thing. I think that's a perfectly acceptable place to be in this format. Cheshire Cruise. Cool. Won't play that one. So, interesting spot. I think the deck's fine. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. I think I could win some games. I think I could lose some games. But it's going to be interactive. It's going to be relatively proactive. And that's usually a pretty good spot to be in. So, got a nice 10 minutes here to sit and build decks. I'm playing probably all of those lands. That gives me 29. So my main complaint at the moment is that my deck is too expensive, right? So I've got a lot of 3s. I think Necromancy is a nice unique effect out of our 3s. Dismember's actually factually a 1, apart from if you flip it. Staff the Storyteller I'm not too stoked about, but all of these 3s are like kind of cracked. I don't think I care about Steel Seraph. But that's another nice one with our touch. Maybe actually like Lurrus is like the nut low. Although it just means that if I, as my creatures die, as they do across a game, Lurrus can just bring back what? Sculler, Evoker, Bat, Luminarch, Giver. I think the staff can go. I don't know if I want to count Chrome Mox as a land or not. I think 16 with a Chrome Mox is fine. Steel Seraph looks annoying. Like if you put it as a 3, I'd still have loads of 3s, right? I'm gonna cut the Steel Seraph. I know I can like, you know, go kind of nutty with it, but I'm not too into that. These are all good, right? Bodyguard, Sentinel, Giver, Oust, Cut Down, Dismember. Fine. Luminarch's good. Bitter Triumph, Cobra, Dark Confident, Bat. Shieldred's Edict. Maybe it's one of these white cards that needs to like fuck off as well. Even Interrupts is so good though. Alright, so I think we'll drop Shieldred's Edict because I've got like other removal for shitters, and I've got Skyclave, and I've got Council Judgment and Vindicate and Bitter Triumph for like creatures with big effects. Virtue just as a 2-for-1 sounds good enough to me. Prismatic Ending is just another cheap versatile card. This might not be the spot for Khan. So one more cut, and I think it's like something along here. Maybe it's just, I don't know if it can be a revoker actually. So like, cheap threats, cheap removal, cheap threats, cheap interaction. That's all interactive except for Lurrus, which is like potentially an engine, but I don't know. I feel like my Lurrus looks really weak. So here's the thing, I feel like my Lurrus looks weak, apart from with Bodyguard, and if I draw it late. And I also feel like my Collective Brutality looks weak, because I'm not big on discarding things to it. I think I'm just going to cut. Can I cut Lurrus? Is that real life? I don't know if that is real. Oh god. Hand interaction, hand interaction, hand interaction, hand interaction, hand interaction. So yeah, maybe I can just cut Kobru. I think my Kobru is like aggressively versatile, right? That's the issue I'm having. What does it look like if I cut this for Evoker? Maybe that's just where I am. 777. So I need to be like heavily leaning white when it comes to my mana. I think I'm gonna run this. I think that's gonna be 16 plus a Chrome Mox, which I think is fine. 4 and 4, which gives me more black than white. Doesn't sound great. 8 black. 9 white. How does that work? I think I gotta lean one more white because I've got the Urborg chilling out over there. I've got the Chrome Mox to sort my life out as well, and both my fetches are like natty black. So I'm gonna hit submit there. This is what we're gonna register, but I'm gonna pause the video and have a think as well. Okie round 1, we're up against Inconceivable. It's inconceivable that I would keep this hand. We're on the draw, so let's go to 6. And this is much better, right? Not sure how you sequence this. I'm going to keep it. What do we bottom here? Just the Urborg? Probably just the Urborg. I'm on the draw, so I'll draw another mana source. I think that's the way I want to live my life. See what our opponent's got for us. One difficult thing here is that it's a pod draft, right? So we know we're going to run into people with power. We're just going to ending the halfling here and now. Yeah. And then next turn we can play a Giver and a Shadowy Backstreet, and that should hopefully fix for our third land. So opponent's got an island, and then that's that. It's a Skyclave. So let's play Giver of Runes. Let's play Shadowy Backstreet. Elite Spellbinder. I think I've got to bin that because I need to find a third land. So we will pop that in the bin. Opponent's turn 3. And they've got 6 cards. And probably a lot of options at this point. So yeah, our game kind of hinges on us drawing another land. If they play, an X2, I'll probably be duressing them plus killing their X2. They've got a Lotus, there we are. That's the thing, isn't it? It's not ideal for us, if I'm honest. Red mana. Wow, that's a lot of value. Twist enters. Yeah, I'd love it if you twisted actually, bro. I'd be really into that. So opponents revealed a Time Twister off their Cascade. It's whether they want to go for that or not. Assume you do. No, they don't. That's a shame. So they're going to get in for 4. We are not going to block. Does that have trample? No. So land, please. They played another land as well on their own turn. Luminarch Aspirant. I will cast that one. So they've got 3 cards. They didn't use their twist, which I'm kind of on board with. We'll go to combat and pump our own Luminarch. Our Luminarch's going to be able to get pro red and pro green and this sort of nonsense soon. I'm surprised they didn't twist, seeing as they're missing on colours. Or to us, they appear to be missing on colours, right? Four cards for the opponent. They've got an attack here. They've kind of got to do it. I'm going to block in pro red our guy, I guess. Yeah, pro red, please. Opponent's got a Huatli. We're going to find a mountain, which they'll then play. So like 3-color nonsense for the opponent over there. I draw a strip mine. So now what? So I can strip them. But I also kind of want to play to the board a bit. What if we duress and then strip? And then my guy's slowly going to outgrow them. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to duress them and then strip mine the land that they need. I'm going to press cancel. I'm just going to double check to make sure I click to the right mode. Yeah. So let's duress them and see where that gets us. We've got Trumpeting Carnosaur, Tundra, so 4-color shit. Okay. Okay then. There's nothing there for us to take. There is, however, knowledge that their mountain's quite powerful. So let's do that. Let's bink on the Lumi, sorry. And we just need them to miss on red for about a turn or two. We know they've got Tundra. They've got 3 cards in hand. So they are full 4 colours over there, held together by Huatli. And then we are looking for another land here. That's a plains. Do I just want to Council's Judgment the Bloodbraid guy and get in for 4? I think it sounds like a sort of time for us to start moving the game forwards, right? I vote for Bloodbraid Challenger. And we're going to put our Lumi counters on our Luminarch Aspirant. Now he's out of range of the Trumpeting Carnosaur in multiple ways. And we can start getting a bit dirty. And we could do with our opponent missing a few more times. So 4 cards in hand for them. Huatli's going to get in for 2, I imagine. Yeah. I'm not blocking. I think I'm happy with the board as it is. So if they don't do anything, I won't do anything on my turn. I will play my land. I don't think I need to be chasing that Huatli. Do I? Hang on, let's read this quickly. Exile Huatli and then activate her. Create 2 3/3 green dinosaur tokens. Do I want to be chasing Huatli? So they just draw a card, draw a land, and then they get 2 dinosaurs, and then they get a bunch of red mana, and they get to tutor a dinosaur card. That doesn't sound realistic. And then the dinosaurs get thick and ugly. Maybe I do want to just... Okay, so my Luminarch Aspirants are 5/5. Let's just body them hard quickly. And then maybe I do want to do that, actually. Because what... They need red. Oh, that's the wrong fucking card. Good God, Josh. Okay, well, that's awful. That's not ideal. And now they flip Huatli. I hate all the ways I played this. That was just a misclick. I just clicked on the wrong card. I decided I was going to do it, and I didn't really pay attention to what I was doing. And this is the format to do that, really. The format and the event to completely fuck everything up. Grief. Let's pump our flyer. Let's attack with both. We can pro-red the Illumi to eat a token. We just don't need to. And now we can play Grief. To take their big dinosaur. Now we've got a menace threat, a big flying threat, and a guy that we can pro-green next turn for lethal. And we can get rid of the red creature they put in play as well. If we can hold here. So expressive iteration, okay. And they've conceded the game. Right. That was not pleasant or pretty. Let's try and tighten up for the next one. What does this do? I think I like Revoker. What do I like Revoker over, though? That's the big question, right? I don't know. It's a 0. See if you sort your deck like that, it looks so much better. Maybe I can drop Cobra. Maybe this isn't the Cobra matchup. They're just playing a bunch of nonsense creatures across 4 colors. And then Revoker turns off their ramp, their Lotus. Maybe that's not actually very good. I mean, it's just like removal spells I want, at which point Collective Brutality is the best one going. So yeah, no, maybe we'll just keep it as it is. We'll go to the next game. Okay, so this time on the draw with 7 cards though, because this looks like a nice keep. Turn 1 Giver, unless of course they turn 1 Halfling. So Flooded Strand for the opponent immediately goes away. Breeding Pool, looks like a Halfling. It's basically a Halfling. Now how do you play this then? How do you play this? Do just Owl Sticks, then it's like a shit draw for them next turn. No, not next turn, the turn after. I think so. And we know that Dismember can kill some valuable creatures, right? The Carnosaur is a 7/5. The other thing that cascades is also, you know, big and sweaty. This is Inti, so I'm probably going to shock in and play a Giver and kill Inti. Is it called Inti? Yeah. So they have an island, so I'm going to shock this in. I'm going to kill Inti. So we get to play around days. And then we play our Giver of Runes. This turn they draw Elvish Mystic. And we get to play Elite Spellbinder. We play a tap land. So Bloodstain Mire, we're just going to Bloodstain Mire for a swamp. Which is there. Play an Elite Spellbinder. and see what they're working with. So they're working with Pyrogoyf, Brazen Borrower, Serum Visions. So we'll take the Pyrogoyf, right? That doesn't escape, does it? No. Because Pyrogoyf is playable and the other two cards are not great into a Giver of Runes. So that's going to tax that one a bit. And then next time we're going to get to grief them. Huatli, okay. Huatli's going to find a basic land. I'm kind of hoping that they cast Serum Visions here. So I'm just getting this up just so I can see what they do with their Serum Visions. They get an island. And then do you play island? I presume you play island. We know their hand, right? Yeah. So play island and then do their Serum Visions. That's the question. They do indeed. So Serum Visions. They draw a card. Which means their Brazen Borrower is not effective here. Unless they've just drawn their Lotus, right? But and if they find another land, then their Pyrogoyf is online next turn, so our Giver will die. In all graveyards. Pyrogoyf is so big. So it scries 2 to the bottom. Cool. That's nice for us. We're going to get a nice clean grief away here. And we're going to start dealing damage as well. So Necromancy. Okay. Doesn't do anything at the moment. Get our basic swamp so that we can cast grief regularly, please. Yep, I will pay 4. I will not pitch any cards. So grief you. And we just take the Brazen Borrower. They've got the extra land in play, in their hand. So the Pyrogoyf will come down next turn. Then if we can ever kill the Pyrogoyf, then we're like balling, right? So and they bottomed 2 off their Serum Visions. I am at 12, so I should probably bear that in mind. Here comes Pyrogoyf as a 4/5. It's kind of like contractually obliged to attack my Giver of Runes, which means I give my grief pro green until end of turn so they can't attack me. And that's that. That's quite a good draw. We'll play Giver of Runes. I would attack for 3 in the sky. Do I want to attack for 3 on the ground as well? It's got Menace, and it kills Huatli before Huatli flips. I think that's good. Otherwise I get him for 6. However, I'm taking 6 on the way back through and they get 2 dinos. I guess the answer is no, because I can double block a Pyrogoyf next turn. They flip stuff, and then I just get a Pyrogoyf of my own. Just quick secret reach check as well. Yeah, okay, so 3's fine. Because this Huatli is going to flip, and that's going to be quite big game. What does the back of Huatli do again? Create 2 dinos, that bit's fine. Creatures you control get that. Then you tutor for the Cascade guy, and then they get thick and aggressive. So maybe that's not all fine long term. The opponent's got 2 cards in hand. One of them's a commercial district, which they're flipping now. Lurus draw was funny, because I was thinking, do I Necromancy my Giver? I think I can't decide if I'm like interested in them attacking with their Pyroglyph. Like, do I double block at that point? It's hard. They're hard pressed to be like putting much in the graveyard here, unless it's a land, right? They pretty much keep any spell. Yeah, so the Pyroglyph comes in. Do I double block? I think I just take my 4. Like, next turn, everything's so good to block with. So I go to 8. Legion Extruder, that's fucked up. That's really bad for us. That was a good draw. Yeah. And they're going to get an artifact on end step as well. I can Vindicate something here, though. They've got 4 mana. This is 5 mana and only at sorcery speed. So I guess I can just Vindicate Huatli. They can make a 3/3 on end step, which will trade with an activation of Giver. So yeah, that doesn't really work. So I'm going to just kill Huatli. I think the long-term threat of Huatli is what I'm most scared of. I think I'm going to chill out for a turn here and lean on Giver of Runes for a moment. And next turn I can do something like Necromancy, Huatli, get myself a land. Oh, maybe not. What does this do? When it attacks mill 3, put a land among them. Opponent cards in your graveyard have Retrace. Interesting. You coming in? No, they're not coming in. Okay. So they're about to like kind of go off really, aren't they? So maybe I want to get Huatli off the battlefield. Out of play for them. I'm going to take your Huatli. Because this is also going to add to my board state for this Virtue, which is coming into play next turn. And this, if that's got Reach. I did a secret Reach check. Oh man, this is not a great advertisement of me, is it? We've played so poorly. That's got Reach. Do I want to give it Pro Green? Yes. Right. Right, so the land has to be in the 3 that they mill. This is an instant. Christ, I feel like I've got to read every card again. To be honest with you, I don't think 6 is regularly played, but still fucked it up, so. So probably going to come with some nonsense here. I think I can take 2 off the 6, but I have to block the Pyrogoyf in some way. We'll let this trigger resolve first. Wow. That's not cool. So they're going to get to... They've got something back in play, and they're going to get to retrace the true name Nemesis here. I draw a miscalc. Okay. So I think I have to double block 6. During your turn, permanent cards you control. None of those have flash, although the Brazen Borrower does. I take 5 off of this guy, but they don't have blue open. They kill my grief, which is fine. Maybe instead of doing the Huatli virtue thing, it's better just to slam the virtue. We know they're holding like a forest or something. Now we need to work out how we ever win this game, because I have not played it well. I'll probably put that on top. Owner's control. Owner's control. I can't attack because of the Legion Extruder. I've got Council's Judgment on top, which can get a... Sacrifice another artifact. I'm really struggling today, good grief. They're going to come into the Pyrogoyf. They're not going to come into the Pyrogoyf. Okay. I'm going to Judgment the Pyrogoyf right here and right now. And then I'm going to probably just attack for 5, I think. I have a 1-2, they have a 1-1. They're at 9, I'm at 3. We're dead to a burn spell. I died to like that Cascadey guy. They've got 3 cards in hand. Played this like shit. Both games. I've been so scared of this Legion Extruder and they just can't activate it. Putting it into the tank at this point. Ragavan with dash. That's powerful. That's going to get my giver out of me, isn't it? It has to, because otherwise they get a token which they can actually use on their Legion Extruder. So I will block Ragavan with giver. Okay. They get in for 1, I drop to 2. They've got nothing else. I would love just like a permanent to put into play. Good one. Good one, deck. I've got to attack with both here, right? No, maybe not actually. Maybe I can just look at it as... Yeah, I think attacking with 1 is fine. Because if I attack with both, they put me to 1. I put them to... They can't. So I just don't die to the haste threat if I do it this way. And I kill them over 3 turns either way. So they can't attack back next turn, but they do get to block and stay alive. So I might as well just do it in 3 rather than do it in 3, but with extra risk. Opponent up to 2 cards in hand. Not interested in what's going on over there at the moment, actually. Doesn't look great for me. Trumpeting Carnosaur. Cascades. 5. Finds Expressive Iteration. Expressive Iteration. It's got Trample as well. That's not cool. Finds Caracas, which gets some Huatli, which gets in for 1. Oh. So I'm now dead on board. So I need to find removal and a chump block, and the Huatli is going to screw me up as well. Doesn't look like the sort of board we're good at coming back from. And they play a halfling, so more lethal threats. Tideway Scholar. Cool, let's take a look, and then we'll go to the next game. Huatli in a forest. Right. Okay, game 3, we're on the play. And this is quite good. I think I'm going to go turn 1 Esper Sentinel. Turn 2 Lumi, or do I just go turn 1 Lumi? Really send the hammer. I think I like turn 1 Esper Sentinel. I've got the Chrome Mox right, which is another land later. Godless Shrine, please. No, I think I'm going to go turn... Yeah, no, turn 1 Esper Sentinel, turn 2 Lumi, and then they can't really ever cast spells. Well, not cast spells, but I'm going to get cards off them, right? Tap land from the opponent. I'd like a land, like a regular land would be kind of dope. Thank you. Because then we can just slow roll the decision on the Chrome Mox. And we get in for 2. And they're basically never paying 2, right? And if they put opponents play this turn, we get to Skyclave it. Arc Trail. Well, I get my card. Arc Trail is very good there. Issue here is we've not got white. So I'm going to go Swamp. Get rid of Skyclave. Hold up Aven Interrupter and Virtue and Dismember. That was a pretty good Arc Trail, if you ask me. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to Dismember. And I'm going to Virtue. That's a good draw as well. So we will go to combat. We will attack our opponent for 2. Cast Lurus, cast Esper Sentinel. So we want to build back onto the board, right? So opponent's turn, and I'm back to having a respectable board state versus their 3 lands. If I draw a land, there's a question as to whether I slam Virtue or whether I just hold up Aven Interrupter. I think if the board's empty, I'm just supposed to hold up Aven Interrupter. Although actually, no, if I draw a white source and everything's still here, I can play Luminarch and hold up Aven Interrupter. So yeah, if there's no interaction from the opponent, that sounds really good if I draw a land. If I don't draw a land, do I play Aven? Do I hold up Aven or do I play Lumi? I don't know. Well, opponent's got some costs for us at this point, so that's good for them. Oh no, they don't. Alright, Tundra and pass, okay. Cut down. I think I'm into just attack. Attack and pass. Opponent goes to 10. They've got something here. Hole Breacher. I think that's fine, so we can cut it down, right? They're probably going for the twist here. If that was the... If they're doing that and not eating the Esper Sentinel, I assume they've got the twist. They've got Tribal Flames targeting my Lurus. Okay. Oh shit, I let that resolve. I've given them a treasure. Still playing like crap. I guess I exile the Tribal Flames. So I get to replay Luminarch. And I've got the cut down for the Hole Breacher if they play Twister here. They shouldn't have that treasure. That's a fuck up on my part. So if I get Spell Pierced here, then I threw it myself. Okay, so we all draw 7. Which is a better spot than we thought we were going to be in. And I've drawn quite an interactive hand. If nothing happens on board, Collective Brutality is going to be lethal. And they're doing something with their treasure. That's a Delighted Halfling. And a passing of the turn. So we should get there here through some of the nut low play that I've ever put together. I'm going to play a Swamp. I'm going to pitch my Grief. Pitching Vindicate. Grief gets Brazen Borrow. Well, that was a fucking shit twist for them, wasn't it? And then now we can cast Collective Brutality, drain you, -2/-2, kill the Halfling, bink you twice, I can discard a planes at this point. Now we can move to combat and attack them for 8. And hopefully I can still count. Right, that was awful magic. Awful magic played by me there. But we've made it through. So there's one more match still going. They're in game 2. Good grief. Right, I'll be back soon for round 2. Okie dokie then. So round 2 of the Vegas qualifier. And we're up against Walshy for Life, who I don't know if I've played before, but they're at this stage in the tournament, so they must be alright at Magic. I quite like this hand. We are on the draw. We do get like absolutely bodied by a piece of interaction on our Chrome Mox. But what we're going to do is we're going to just, I think, just raw dog out a Bob on the draw. Depends on what we see. I'm likely imprinting this Vindicate just so I've got dual land. Yeah, that's roughly where I'm at. Let's see what our opponent comes with first, though. Because I can also see playing out the Deep Cavern Bat. So they've hit us with the old Zagoth Triumph. So obviously I can get pushed or whatever, but I'm just so game for having a Bob in play on turn 1. And I still think I imprint the Vindicate. And hit them with the old Dark Confident. So that's going to keep the cards going. Next turn we've definitely got Deep Cavern Bat. We may have other spells if we want to, like an Elite Spellbinder. So Zagoth Triumph from the opponent to start with. And they get to untap and just play an island. Cool. So they can't have Brazen, they can't have Lotus. They can obviously have every other piece of power available to them. And Bob's going to trigger, that's quite cool. I've also got my 5 in hand. There's a Benevolent Bodyguard. Let's see if we can hit a land here. We cannot. Okay. How does that make me feel? Not great. Bodyguard versus... Bodyguard plus Dismember versus Deep Cavern Bat you. I think we bat them first. Get rid of any toxic deluges, that sort of shit. This might just need a counterspell as well. And I'm doing this now just because I don't want them to flash in a Snapcaster Mage on my Bob. Now I can get rid of a Reclamation Sage, something like that would just upset me. Don't I have Rec Sage though? I've got Rec Sage, but like a Pest Infestation then, there you go. And if this gets in and then immediately deleted, which is unlikely because I have a Bob in play, but we're going to get the information off the trigger at least. So they're paying costs and they're going to hit us with Mystical Tutor. Wow, that's not great for the home team. So Mystical gets Tinker. Deep Cavern Bat. Deep Cavern Bat has to take Zuran Orb at this point, right? And then we have to... So yeah, we'll take Zuran Orb and put that under the bat. They're going to draw Tinker and play Crucible. And then we need to play Elite Spellbinder to slow roll the Tinker again. So we need to hit a land off of this one. Please don't play Yavimaya, thank you. Good sir. So Crucible's in play. I'd love a land here, or a Grief. Oust isn't what I dreamed of. Plains is perfect. So we'll take that. Because that's going to give us 2 more turns. And this is why this sort of deck is always so sweaty. Because they get another land drop now, right? That's unfair. And then they're probably just going to tinker for Portal and then all my cards go away. So Misty Rainforest is a fresh draw. Bob triggers. I hit Swamp. Urbog. Okay. So how do we play this now? They've got a fresh draw, so I'm going to play the bodyguard first. Although I don't... Yeah, and then we just attack them. So this is the turn they get to tinker away their Crucible of Worlds. We've got multiple removal spells for any like fat robot that they get. So I'm imagining it's going to be like a portal. I think I've like long term got portal covered. That might not be true. They don't fetch with Misty. Hopefully their draw step is exactly portal. And then what else would they have that would be like actually scary? Yavimaya annoying because now I have to choose what I want out of my lands. Exploration, land, and then they get to tinker. So they've got no cards in hand, they've just got this tinker. They tinker away the Crucible as expected. And they get Portal to Phyrexia. So we're going to Arden Veil here in response. The Portal trigger is going to resolve. And I'm going to sacrifice Deep Cavern Bat, this card, and then the Knight token. They play a Zero Orb, which is expected. And I think I'm just going to Necromancy Deep Cavern Bat. I draw Lurus, okay. So maybe I just cast Deep Cavern Bat. So let's cast Deep Cavern Bat, and now they've got like exactly a Benevolent Bodyguard to pick up. We get in for 5, opponent falls to 4, they've got a draw step and a bodyguard. We get to ending the bodyguard, like, and then they've got the Zuran Orb. But when we're going through their lands like that, I think we're kind of golden. Unless they top deck like exactly Titania or some shit. That would be brutal. It'd be cool if they stopped tapping lands. Primeval Titan. Oh, I'm going to struggle to kill us a Primeval Titan. They get Dark Depths Thespian Stage. Okay, so I need to hold on to my Prismatic Ending then. I've got 2 flyers. They've got some shit going on, haven't they? Council's Judgment. Council's Judgment's cracked. For us here. So I'm going to Council's Judgment the Primeval Titan. They're going to sack a bunch of lands, apparently. Oh, they had to. Okay. Oh yeah, they've got to play around a bunch of removal. So I'm actually just going to vote for Prime Time. So that card's just going to be annoying. Now we'll attack with just the flyers. One of the flyers and a Lurus. So they could top deck exactly Time Walk and that would kill me. I think that's fine. And they can't really sack the bodyguard, because then I can just recast the bodyguard. And then their portal's dead. They have at least made the game a bit sweatier. Primeval Titan was a very good draw. No blocks from the opponent. I think I can cast the Esper Sentinel here. Oh, I'm dead to the protection, actually, aren't I? They drew a land. It's on their end step. I think I'm just going to dismember my bodyguard. Being of your upkeep. So yeah, if I dismember the bodyguard, then I get to cast the bodyguard. And when I attack for a bunch, Swamp's good. Swamp's not good. So let's cast a bodyguard. So there's no creatures in graveyards now. Play a swamp. Attack with everyone. Opponent's got to sack lands. Opponent's got to make 2020. We get to post-combat the 2020. And Necromancy, whatever they bring back in. Whatever they block, sort of thing. There's also the fact that I could have just killed myself, which isn't actually true, because I'm going to gain 4 here anyway. Well, it's 4 here. And then I'd be able to oust anything to go to 21, but I can also untap all my creatures. So they're going to make a 2020. They're going to block something. Lurus, sure. I'm necromancying anything anyway, so I think Lurus dying is just fine. I don't think that matters. And my opponent concedes, cool. Cool. So lands and tinker. Does that mean I want any of these cards? I mean, Staff is another flyer. I think my deck's okay as it is. You just need to fade their nut high draws. I think that's the plan. This time I do want Shielded Edict, don't I? Probably over Cobra, I guess. I don't think they've got many shitters. And Shielded Edict can actually just bink a Merit Large. So we'll make that change. Cobra might be wrong, but we'll find out more information about their deck and maybe adjust that going into game 3 if we have to. Okay, so game Next one, game 2. We're on the draw with a bit of a dirtly one, but I will keep it. I think Strip Mine and Shieldred's Edict and Necromancy all look kind of cool to me. So the big question though is just, do I strip on sight? Do I just strip their turn 1 play? Do I try and develop into the game and bink like exactly depth stage, right? Take off prime, yeah, no, I think sorry, but I am not that disciplined. Absolutely get that one out of here. Opponent's turn 2, they've got 6 cards. Oh fuck, did they mulligan like really low then? No, they just mulligan to 6. I've played this game before, I promise. But 6 on the play and then you get your tri-land stripped is kind of tough going. Oh, well, maybe not, I lied, sorry. Into a generous ascent, yeah, okay, cool. So that was a recovery. That was a recovery. We'll get a polluted delta into play because that's going to go and get our shadowy backstreet. There's also a green source. Oh, I didn't take out my Urborg. Not supposed to take out my Urborg. Tireless Tracker, sure. How many lands have you got, bro? They've got an island. They've got a forest. They've got, right, objectively correct forest art though, so big respect there. Cool. So they've got 1 clue, 2 clues, and they're going to draw a card now. Oh, because they might get a 3rd clue. This all makes sense. This all makes sense. No more clues. They have drawn a spell, which I'm not greatly into. I'm going to go get my shadowy backstreet and pop that into play. Cool strip mine though. That went well. We'll get rid of our planes. Don't need that. I did need another swamp though. So I'm just going to ask them to sacrifice their Tireless Tracker now. So each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. And now vindicating lands and shit doesn't sound great. So Simic Growth Chamber. Into Island. Time Spiral, okay. It's awfully good for our opponent. I mean, this isn't the worst hand I've ever seen in my life on my side, but obviously they've just got like a huge mana advantage right now. Despite my turn 1 strip mine. I feel like they've recovered well enough. And this is the risk with these decks, right? Is, you know, yes, I've got a deck which if we're just going to nickel and dime and trade resources, I'm probably going to do quite well. As long as I don't play like shit. And then you've got these decks here where, you know, I'm on the draw, the slightly dirtly one. My one piece of interaction, my one main way to make you stumble, just absolutely didn't work. And we're really far behind. Our opponent's got a fresh 7, 67 mana, and an 8th card if they want it. So, whereas like, what am I doing next turn? Like casting an Esper Sentinel? That's pretty tough. Because the dream there was that they just play another land, right? Like, we vindicate them with 2 lands. So they've gone for Wheel of Fortune, so they hate all of it. So that's cool. Lurrus is gone, Necromancy's gone. They're going to crack a clue, I guess. Oh, Narset, okay, Narset's going to really put me in the ground. Alright, my card goes to the graveyard. Our opponent gets 7 fresh ones. We are going to chill and let our opponent kill us here. So, Gruul Turf. This is cool though, because you don't often see this deck go off, right? And I know I passed that fast bond. I was just very much more interested in a format like this, in having something slightly less, like, I don't know, slightly less, slightly lower potential for like failure, right? So we play a Luminarch Aspirant, and we pass the turn. Our opponent has been through a number of cards, their Narset goes off, they find a Portal to Phyrexia, which they can just cast, and all those cards are in the graveyard, so I think we can pack this one up here. Oh, they're going for prime time. Okay, so they're going for the dead next turn plan, and not a lot I can do with it. But this does unfortunately mean I have to take a draw step, I think. Strange not to just cast the portal there. I feel like the portal ices the game faster and harder, right? Flame Slash my Lumi? Okay, maybe not. Maybe everything... They just need to click buttons at this point and we lose. Cool. Let's go to the next one. And see if we can be disruptive enough into game 3 when we're on the play. Maybe I want the duress effect back in. Maybe something like cut down, maybe. Dismember's questionable. I think I'll drop the cut down in exchange for having the duress. Because Dismember's always going to kill a Tireless Tracker, right? It's really hard for them to get it out of range. But cut down, the moment they play a Tireless Tracker, you're in some really annoying timing thing. Which I don't really want to partake in, I just want my cards to work. So... It's quite funny though that I said there's a time and a place for a fast bond and this isn't it, and now here I am getting aggressively bodied by a fast bond. So what have we seen? We've seen fast bond and exploration as ramp enchantments. They can't be revoked. Revoker can't revoke lands either. That's why it's not coming in for the Thespian stage thing. Interesting. Okay, game 3 against Walshy for life. We're on the play this time round. That's not a banger, is it? I'm going to send that one back, I'm afraid. This one's going to have to do. Probably drop planes. I know like I can play a shadowy backstreet and stuff with that other hand. Try and get some filtering, but relying on turn 2 interaction and going from there doesn't sound like the dream. So, opponent's also mulligan to 6, joined us there. I feel like I'm the sort of deck which is going to operate better on 6 than the opponent. However, you've got to bear in mind that they can just wheel themselves back to 7 with a little bit of ramp. Right, so Esper Sentinel's not very good against draw 7s because they just give you the card and wheel it away. So Forest up first and nothing else. Okay. And then we'll play our swamp, so we've got a mana under us, and we've got an end step, Virtue of Loyalty, and after that we need help. So opponent's turn 2. And they've got a think on. I could have played the Silent Clearing there. To try and get like... Because then if I miss on my draw step next turn, I can try and filter it into like a strip mine or something. Opponent looks to be considering how they're going to proceed. a tank this long makes me think they've got like multiple game actions, right? If your turn is land go, it's quite simple. If your turn is more than land go, especially when you've got something like a fast bond in play, they're probably counting as to whether they can give me a card or not. I think they've decided that they can't. Yeah. So there we go. So that's their turn. It's getting the expedition map. I'm going to make my 2/2. Quite an aggressive line, isn't it? I kind of think I'm into it, though. I don't know if that's massively punty or, like, really disruptive. But I kind of think I'm into it. So opponent on turn 3 returned to Tanksville. We've got a decision coming up with this silent clearing. They've got a Waterlord Grove and a Ramnap Excavator. Okay, so we'll oust the Excavator and play a Giver of Runes, I guess. Opponent falls to 15. And I think I'm supposed to not cycle the clearing here. I think I take a draw step first and then go from there. Because if I find a land and I just get to play the Virtue, it's quite good, right? Next turn they draw Ramnap Excavator, which will have to come up with a way of pushing through, and Virtue is that way. They've got 5 cards in hand. They're missing on red mana at the moment, but red looked to be only like a little splash for the wheel. We've got a Courser this time around. Okay. There's a Ramnap Excavator on top, as we knew. They play an island from hand to gain a life. I'm just going to take a draw step. Luminarch Aspirant. I'm going to put it on the Knight token. And I think I am interested in pushing damage here. I don't think they've got loads of removal in their deck. I think we can just ride this to the moon now. I will cycle the Virtue now that they've done all that. I will cycle the Silent Clearing now that the Luminarch's in play. The Luminarch's going to provide us a clock as well. Tinker's pretty scary. If they're holding a bauble, they get to portal me right now. So I probably do need to cycle my Silent Clearing on end step to see if I can find my interactive plot card. Because I don't know how I beat a portal from this position. Like, yeah, land, Zoran Orb in hand. So that would be 2 of their 3, because we know about the Excavator at the moment. Yeah, if they're holding an artifact, we're in a lot of trouble. They want the Tinker, and they want it now. They find a Mind Stone. And maybe I'm supposed to... If I don't get Tinkered right now, maybe I'm supposed to Put counters on Esper Sentinel so that I get a card off of them later. Opponent's paying costs. They've got to pick your poison, sacrifice an artifact. So that will be my Esper Sentinel. You paying the 1? Yeah, they are. Okay, so I won't be putting a counter on my Esper Sentinel. And they won't be attacking. So I'm going to sacrifice this because I need to find my plot card or I need to find my interactive card. Benevolent Bodyguard isn't it. Aven Interrupter is exactly what I imagined. So we're going to put counters on here. I'm going to pro green it again. Scroll down, select green. Because that was the exact card I was thinking of. So this gets a counter. They get down some hit points. I can't cast any spells. They needed to find a land there, ideally, for their Mind Stone. What do we know about Ramanap Excavator and Tinker? And this plot dude is like attached to Tinker, right? Ramanap Excavator is fine. That will bring back a Waterlord Grove, which means they're tinkering next turn. So we take a draw step. White source is cool. It's not a white source. So let's do the Lumi and give a thing again. Let's give it protection from green to push damage. Opponent cannot block this. And if this Aven Interrupter works, we're in great shape. They've got a Dark Depths on top, which doesn't produce mana. Which doesn't really matter for them right now. So their play this turn, from what we know, looks really scripted, in which you just go Mind Stone, Tinker for Portal, wipe my board, and then slowly claw yourself back in. We've got the Aven Interrupter though, which will counter the Tinker and put the Mind Stone in the graveyard for us. So our opponent has to find another way through. They play the Dark Depths from the top. There's a Minsk and Boo chilling out there. Fucking glad we didn't see that earlier. They go to 5. This is the Mind Stone, which is fine. And this is a Tinker, which is not fine. Dead to Daze, dead to Force of Will. That's it, right? Dead to Daze, dead to Force of Will. Tinker gets exiled. You've made your land drop. I'm going to pro green you dead. Your Dark Depths doesn't tap for mana. It looks good for the home team in this spot. going to play a Benevolent Bodyguard to be absolutely sure about it. Now I'm going to pro-green my Knight token. I did press green. Luminarch will hit the Knight token. Combat will happen. That's 8. Opponent's at an aggressively low life total for 8 damage. And our opponent is dead. We're in the finals. 1 match to Vegas. Fuck, this is stressful. Okay, nerds. This is the final against Munson Jenkins for all the marbles. Okay, so winner of this match gets the Vegas trip, the seat at the table. And what have we got here? We're on the draw, which is not the dream. Is this playable? I think so. Maybe the City of Traitors is actually like massive bait in my deck because all of my cards cost white. Hallowed Fountain, tapped. Esper Sentinel or Strip Mine? I think Strip Mine. I've got lands for days, right? And I need to draw another white one so we can just chill out and slow them down. Let's pop that in their graveyard. And pass the turn. I do believe Tundra decks are the best decks in the format, so our opponent's deck might be good. Fiery Islet, nice sign of weakness for us though, so let's get our Esper Sentinel in there. Because like they've either got a burn spell or fuck all, right? If they're down a land in this spot, if they miss this land drop, they didn't, okay. Fine. I'd like a white source, please. Do I slow roll that? I think so. I think I can slow roll the grief. Because then I can necromancy the grief, right? If I draw another black card. No follow-up is annoying though from us. I think I'll let it happen. Unholy Heat's my Sentinel. Pays the 1. Fine. So they are fully Jeskai. This isn't just here for the memes and the card draw and the flood protection. But this is where our Strip Mine came in handy. It's because they've missed their land drop. And that's another black land. Black's card, but that's a really good black card, right? Just vindicate your island and chill? Or do we grief and then necromancy grief? Grief, pitching vindicate, necromancy grief. I've got a threat on board. Versus just vindicate your brains out. No, because they can still draw lands. Fucking hell, this is close. Double scam. Well, maybe I can just... Yeah, I think I just vindicate them. But what if they drain me, though? Drain, counterspell, mana leak. These are all annoying. Against my vindicate. But then this could just bury them as well. They've got 6 cards. I'm going to vindicate. I think vindicate your island is just exceptionally fucked up, really. If they miss another land drop, the game's like very close to over. But I do need to find more colours. They drained me. Does that mean I've now got a grief? Does that mean I fucked everything up? Oh, God. I could have played around all of this by just griefing them. Well, not all of it. They've got 5 cards and 5 mana. Oh, shit. So if I grief I'm also not in a particularly good position of strength, am I? I'm just griefing once. I can draw white sources as well to clear up whatever they do. I've got a lot of answers in my hand. I literally said, what if they drain me? So what would happen there? They drain my first one, they'd get 6 mana. I'd get the grief into play. Yeah, I don't know. That was... I can't do nothing there. Might Stone and Weak Stone, sure. So they draw 2 cards. So we're up against like an Academy deck. Tinker's gone. Cryptic Coat has not gone. Alright, another black card would be kind of dope. This time if it doesn't bait me into doing something else. Well, it's tried. It's trying. Alright, this time we will grief their brains out, I think. See you later, Bob. Thanks for joining. Christ, I hate all of it. So I take Fractured Othari. They're both white cards, though. I've got to take Fractured. And then it's between Othari and Urza. I could have taken Othari. Fucking hell, Josh. Well, they can just top deck and Fractured Othari, can't they? So maybe this is better. Which one's easier to clean up, Othari or Urza? Probably Urza. I've not been delighted with how I've played all day. So I could have taken an Urza, I could have taken an Othari. Both of those run headfirst into white source. My understanding is there's no other rebels in the cube, so I'm not too concerned about Othari coming back. We know Tinker's gone. They had a mountain last turn anyway. This ward guy is going to get in. And then they can play Urza. And if I can draw some white sources... I mean, they've still got 4 mana here for artifacts. They don't have 4 mana for artifacts. That's cool. That's good for the home team. Tide Hollow Sculler. Tide Hollow Sculler doesn't allow me to attack. What do we know about their hand? It's... This is gone, this is gone, this is gone. So we know Plough. They've got 2 cards and we know about Plough. I think we just oust the token and attack for 3. Take 4 on the way back through. Or I can just take the Plough out of their hand. Or do I have to oust Urza? Because Urza's got 1 billion mana next turn, they just start spinning every turn. I'm going to oust the token and attack. No, that doesn't really do anything. Can't be blocked. I'm going to oust the token and attack. If tapped to mana. They don't have anything to do with it. So I did miss that I could Necromancy or Thari. But where they've got Fractured and quite quickly the mana to cast it, I feel like it was fine. They're going to pick up this Cryptic Coat here and play it again. I need to draw a white source so I can Council's Judgment that if they allow it. So they'll play that Cryptic Coat again. They get a white source, which means they get a spin or plow. Vocal will be good in this matchup. Shielded Edict, less so. So plow's online. They appear to be going for the spin. Oh no, they're going for the pick up and put back down. Okay. That wasn't the dream. Wasn't the dream draw. Maybe my City of Traitors is actually bait, but hey. Let's play Tide Hollow Sculler and get rid of their plow. Failure is even worse. Well, they both do the thing, right? I think I'm still supposed to. Oh no, actually, I'm supposed to take the plow, the failure. Oh well. We've got 2 more games. This one doesn't look great for us. I'm questioning the City of Traitors. So we need to kill Urza. Step 1, we need to top deck a white source. They're just sending the squad. So I just trade grief with something. How much am I taking? 7. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Pick one at random. My grief traded with the Steam Vents. So they get a spin. Oh no, they've drawn another spell. Oh no, they pick up the Cryptic Coat. I remember how this card works. Yeah. Right, we've got no place. It's fine. Right. So that's the white source. Is it too late for white source? What am I going to do? Target the Cryptic Coat, they flash it back to their hand. They're going to flash in a failure. Get rid of my blocker. And then... If they draw a white source, it's plow my other blocker. So I guess I have to Skyclave over Cryptic Coat, over thingy, because I need to play to the board. So I think I have to Skyclave Urza. I don't know how I actually get back into this game. I can't hit any of these nerds because they've all got ward. I think it all comes down to that Vindicate, right? So my grief would get drained, and then I'd have to take one card from them. I don't know. Right, that's happened though. So we'll let our opponent do the thing. In this spot though, I don't think anything works for us. So I've got to trade off all my things to stay alive. They hit. Oh no, I'm just actually dead on board, right? Yeah. Just dead on board to the failure. Cool. So they exile the Sculler, they plough the Skyclave. They hit me for damage. 9. Okay, so I'll be at 2. Still not great, to be honest with you. There's no balance, there's no like comeback mechanism in our deck. Oh, failure hits the Might Stone and the Meek Stone. Which picks up the Cryptic Coat. These are all bad options. I can't be any of this. Right, let's go to the next one. I can't be any of this. I'm going to let them see if they want to show me more information, actually. Failure brings that back that. Okay. Cool, right. Let's go to the next one. We're aggressively dead. We've got 2 more. I don't know what to do in that spot, because they'd missed the land drop, right? So Vindicate is like the nut high if it gets through. But I guess the fact that they have drain makes it the nut low. But then that means my grief is also getting drained on the way through. And then I necromancy it. And I get like the Might Stone and Meek Stone as, or I get the Urza. And I'm still probably in a tough spot going forwards. I don't know. Never mind. Right, let's move on to the next one, and let's not think about that one. We've got a Revoker here, which looks pretty good. They make a lot of non-tokens, so... And do I just want to take to the skies? So these are the 2 I want to consider. Cut down kills Urza. Collective Brutality. What does that do for me? I think they've got a lot of good spells. This is great. This is great. They didn't seem to have much cheap shit, did they? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they've got like a piece of power or something. I think maybe we can drop a Prismatic Ending. Do I want to consider that City of Traitors? That just... I don't think so. I think we need to just... City of Traitors is a good card. It casts a couple of these. Cast my Revoke and my Steel Seraph. It does ramp me. But maybe the fact that it's not colour source in my pip intensive deck is like a real issue. I trimmed on swamps earlier, right? So I can add a swamp here. I don't know if that's like 2 results based though, you know. I still need to make a cut from this. Right, what's my cut? I like Bob a lot. Council Judgment seems great. Touch seems fine. Elite Spellbinder seems good. I might just take the Cobrew out. And press submit. I'm going to keep the city in. And Steel Seraph is just going to be evasive, nut high sort of thing. Okay, so that's the plan. Just try and get them dead. What does this hand do? It plays a turn 2 Revoker or a turn 2 Deep Cavern Bat, and we're praying for white mana at some point in the future. I think where I've got 2 plays and they're both relatively disruptive, we can fly with this one. Lead on swamp and pass the turn. Opponent has Steam Vents, and Steam Vents is tapped. Oust. Okay. Let's go Yawgmoth and play Deep Cavern Bat. Sunfall, Failure, Flicker Wisp, Jitte. I think we take Failure. And hope to pick off Sunfall later. They're going to play the Jitte. Oh no, they're going to play a Talisman of Progress. Okay. So I'm probably going to have to revoke that Jitte at some point. Probably now. I mean, I can hit Talisman. No, I think I just hit Imazar's Jitte. Just turn that off. Hit you for 1. So it's going to give them an Urza. My plan was to Tide Hollow the. My plan was to Tide Hollow the Sunfall, but we're missing a colour. Maybe this wasn't a keep. I don't know, it's got everything I want to do, right? And I've got 2 plays already. Failure is phenomenally scary against, like, with Flicker Wisp and with Urza and stuff in hand. So opponent's making plays. Blue, blue, and 1. Cryptic Coat returns. And they can pick it up as well, yeah. So I just can't ever beat a Jitte is the problem. And then they blink the Urza. So that Sunfall's no longer a problem. That's for sure. Okay, Bloodstained Mire is a white source. Do I Vindicate Urza or do I Vindicate Cryptic Coat? I think I've got to Vindicate the Coat. They've got 1 artifact. Godless Shrine, please. So their hand is Sunfall Jitte. I think I've got to shoot this guy first. And I can't really have a block here either, because otherwise they unlock Jitte and they unlock Failure. I play the Jitte out anyway. So that's 8, 10, 14. That's a lot of damage. And I just genuinely don't know if I can block any of it. So, how much damage am I taking? 14 damage. I'm going down to 5. At some point I'm going to have to trade with these fuckers, aren't I? I give them failure and they get Urza going. If I trade with the cloaked creature, they get a Jitte going. I can't beat a Jitte under any circumstances. Can I ever beat a failure? It just removes all my blockers. So what, I go to 5 and then try and present something. Hit a white source, play... Hit a white source, play Tide Hollow and Lumi, or Tide Hollow and Oust. Cool, I go to 5. Alright. Next job, stay alive. So what does Tide Hollow Scholar do? It takes a card out of their hand for a moment, and then Luminarch pumps something. Or I can try and get a Giver going. Giver bounces off of Urza, and then gives me like infinite blockers if we get that far. So maybe that's better. So let's take a card out of their hand. Opponents found something to do. They found a Malcolm. Problematic. So we get the Sunfall out of their hand. Do I just oust a token? I think maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. Oust a token. And I can trade with Flicker Wisp. Bounce off Urza, trade with Cloaked Construct. Take some damage. And then we pass. Probably not attacking in this spot. They get a draw step. I don't know how we get out of this. Or did I just oust a token? Okay, so they're not going to Malcolm into a token. Just give Urza a spin, or have you got something good to do? Yeah, the problem we've got, right, is I just can't see a way back into the game once they've got a GT rolling. So they're going to give Urza the big spin here. And they hit a Batter Skull. That's another equipment that I probably can't beat. Can they equip that onto anything? I need to get through this combat first. And then I need to top deck a balance that I didn't draft. Okay. So let's move to blockers. This has to block here. It was just an artifact lethal. So if I block here, and then if I block here, I take 6. That's not good. So I've got to block here. Which means I take 3, I gain a life. I think that's the line. This gives us the draw step, but I don't think a draw step is doing anything for us at this point. It looks very good for our opponent. believe we're out of outs at this stage. Basic planes certainly ain't it. So I can deploy 2 creatures. And I'm always taking 3. So I play 2 creatures. I'm just always on trump block, right? And then this. So what? I play 2 creatures. Neither of them. Well, one of them can fly. Maybe that's the line then. Maybe it's. I mean, they're never doing that, are they? They're just going to attack. It's just if they equip. If I play planes, play giver, pass the turn, and now if they equip Batter Skull, I get another draw step. I think we're just like dragging out the inevitable here. Oh, they got failure. Sure. Okay. Failure's going to do it. Failure's great. I can't beat failure here. So yeah, I think that's going to do it, right? And I can counter failure. So let's do that. Let's do that. And then they're going to attack us. And we're going to die. So, big congratulations to our opponent. I block, I take 3. And our opponent goes to Vegas, and we stay home. So, congratulations to them, and we will try again. Cool run. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I get, oh yeah, I get 4 VMA sets and 4 Modern Horizons 3 sets, which is actually better than a kick in the dick, so that's good. So that's going to do it from me today. You got to go 12-0. 11-1 is not good enough in this format. Thanks for watching. It was a lot of fun. Well, it's a lie, actually. I didn't really enjoy it. It's quite stressful. I don't think I played well. I think the last round opponent is the guy who found us out, right? So it goes. We'll try again. No feeder leagues. I might try and record some feeder leagues. Because they're a bit more chill. So like I made the final, not the finals. I made the 64 man with like a sick Doomsday deck and stuff. So yeah. Right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Congratulations to Munson Jenkins, and we will catch you next time for some Cube or some Vintage.